Hi, this is Paige Joy. I'm the writer and director of Don't Fall Asleep, The Untold Story of Nancy Thompson, and you're watching The Morbid Files with Texxx.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Morbid Files. It has been a long time since I made a video, and I apologize for that. A lot of that's due to me moving and all kind of crazy things going on. But we are back, and I have a returning guest. He's no surprise, or no stranger, I should say, to the Morbid Files channel. That is the one, the only, Mr. Joey Click. Joey, what's up?
What's going on?
How you doing?
Nice to be back. It's been a long time, but yeah, we're gonna make it seem like it hasn't been only a day. So
yeah, I hope so, man. It's been a while. Me and you've been talked about doing a show for a while, and it just never came together. But we are back finally. So
life happens, but the genre never leaves. So
there you go,
no doubt.
Well, we're going to be talking about some Rob Zombie films tonight. Love him or hate him, but we're going to be discussing a lot of his films. And I mean, you got so many, man. I mean, you got House of a Thousand Corpse, you got Devil's Rejects, 31, the Halloweens. Whether you hate them or you love them, you got the remakes.
He certainly has a body of work now. I mean,
yeah.
We're not talking about a couple films there. He's got a lot of movies under his belt that we can discuss for sure.
Yeah, and the latest one, Lords of Salem, or not Lords of Salem. Sorry. 31 is the latest, but Lords of Salem. Yeah. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, really underrated. Can't wait to get into that one.
Yeah. Well, man, let's start with. I guess we could start from the beginning. House of a Thousand Corpse. What's your take on it, man? I mean, was it one of your favorites or your least favorites?
Yeah, that's an interesting one, isn't it? Yeah, I guess because for a long time, it's better to go back. I remember being in high school and hearing that Rob Zombie, the Rocker, was going to become a filmmaker. He's going to start making movies, and I'm like, okay, cool. I heard his movie was Twisted.
Yeah.
It had that stuff going on, with Universal. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correct, Universal. Where they got in bed with him, and then they realized it was a little too risque, and that's why Lionsgate picked it up.
Right.
So I remember it coming out. I didn't love it when it first came out. I felt like it was the greatest hits of all of his favorite filmmakers versus something that is his own voice, which I think Devil's Rejects is.
Right.
And for a long time, because Devil's Rejects was so good, I was like, man, I mean, it only made that movie seem worse.
Mm-hmm.
Without going back and revisiting it because it's so good and the contrast is there. But you were saying about me, you wanted to do this a while back,
right?
And so I started watching all his movies again to get ready, refreshed, have a lot of vocabulary ready. And I'll be honest with you, man, when I saw it again, it affected me a lot more. I enjoyed it a lot more. Yeah, it still has those elements of like I've seen Chainsaw Massacre, I've seen these other movies, I've seen not really The Hills Have Eyes. I mean, that's probably not really a good example, but I've seen these other films where I'm like, okay, he probably borrowed that. He's a fan like me. But watching it again, I mean, there's things that really struck out in my mind. That I love the scene whenever the cops come and they go to the farm or they go to the house, and then it's scene music's playing over that whole scene right there. Really shows that Rob Zombie is he's a really good director. What's your take on it?
When I first saw it, man, I guess I was kind of like you. I did not like it. I think I went in with a different expectation of it. Being Rob Zombie. I mean, it was crazy. It was a Rob Zombie, I guess, what you would expect. But I guess I thought I was wanting a little bit more. And then, at the end where they kind of left you off, I was like, man, I hated this movie almost, but I hope there's a part two at least. And then, like, when The Devil's Rejects came out, it was like, holy fuck, I fucking love The Devil's Rejects.
Oh, yeah.
And then, I went back and I rewatched it, and I was kind of like you, okay, now I got a little bit more respect for it, and I dig it a little bit. But my first time seeing it, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
it didn't do it for me for some reason, man. It did have that kind of Texas Chainsaw, little take on it, and it just, I don't know, it's just kind of the same old thing to me at the time.
Disgruntled, crazy, laugh in your face while you're kind of crying family.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Type of insanity. Yeah, I mean, he borrows a lot from that, but yeah, it's easy to fall through the cracks. Maybe because we've, I mean, obviously the movie came out like 2002. You know what I mean? 2001, back in the day. I think it was a freshman in high school. And since then, even I think as movies don't really evolve necessarily, I think the viewers evolve. And I like to think that I got to a place where I'm like, okay, I know more about direction. I know more about the way directors work and what is good and what isn't a good direction. And the movie has a lot more merit than I ever gave credit for.
Right.
Without a doubt, I think I mean, it's twisted. It's twisted. It's not for everybody, but when you sign up, it's almost like don't sign up for a field trip to go to the Grand Canyon if you're scared to look down. You know what I'm saying? Like what you're getting into whenever you sign up for Rob Zombie, because he's very subversive. I mean, he's insanity. He's crazy. So not like he's not a crazy person, but his movies are not for everyone. But I love him, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I'm a hard sell. I really am.
Right. Yeah. Now, some of the cast in it, I mean, Sid Haig, Captain Spaulding, I think he was great. Even though I didn't like it when I first saw it, his character, of course, I really enjoyed. And I think if it wasn't for him and his character in the first one, I wouldn't have cared to even see part 2, or, well, the second movie that, Rob Zombie came out with, which was The Devil's Rejects.
Right.
But he's the one that kind of really sold it for me to go back out and say, okay, I'm going to try this one more time. And I'm glad I did. Because, but The Devil's Rejects, man, that's my
the headbutt.
Yeah, it's my all-time favorite. But.
Yeah. Oh well, that's again, I'm a hard sell. That's a masterpiece, and I really don't say that in any. I used to joke about it. I mean, I think his direction's underrated, and I really do believe that. I always wanted to see him direct a movie that he never wrote, like he didn't write. Because I think that pure direction. I think he's got a lot of talent, but I used to joke around saying that somebody else made The Devil's Rejects, and then he put his name on it because it's that good.
Right.
Because I didn't like House of Thousand Corpses, and regretfully I didn't see Devil's Rejects in theaters because I was like, well, I'm not going to go back to the same chef if he doesn't make a good meal. Right. And then suddenly I'm regretting it my whole life. I've seen it in theaters since then, but I really wish I would have got on that original run because it really is. That movie's profound. I can't wait to start talking about that. I can talk about Devil's Rejects.
Definitely, yeah. Well, well, the first one now, how did you think about the characters and everybody within the movie?
I mean, I think that's one of the biggest problems is that, like, a problem that the movie still has is that it's the potential that it just doesn't necessarily follow through with. So, like, it has good characters and it sets them up, but it forgets those characters for all the macabre. It forgets them for, it's like, I mean, a bad example, but if you like Tarantino, and if you've seen The Hateful Eight, right? Yeah. I feel like The Hateful Eight's got a lot of problems because he cares so much about what his characters are, like the exposition, he forgets to do something with them. So until he does, so with House of a Thousand Corpses, I mean, he has good characters. The girl's really empathetic. The boyfriends are cool. Well, Chris Hardwick is kind of jerky and he's entertaining, right? But like they seem like real people. But the problem is that once he gets down the rabbit hole, he forgets her, kind of. I mean, in a way, not really. They have that scene where she wakes up and she's by herself. I mean, I'm not saying necessarily he doesn't forget his characters. It's just I wish it felt like I was seeing the movie through her eyes the whole way. And sometimes it feels like you would rather us spend more time with the Firefly family.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, definitely can see that.
Yeah, I mean. But I like the characters. I just wish she would have been. And it is. I mean, like I said, it doesn't abandon him completely. It's just he puts emphasis on other characters versus his protagonist later on in the movie.
Right. Do you think? Let's just say with the Captain Spaulding, do you think that he probably knew that it would be? I mean, that his character would be a big deal. Or did you think?
You mean?
Go ahead.
But do you mean like the whole scope of the both films, like the fact that he's a bigger character in the second one? I mean, I'd like to think that he didn't write the first script, the script for House of Thousand Corpses, and didn't know what maybe he would do with the characters after that.
Right.
It'd be really weird as someone, like, as a creative person, if he was creating those characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
It would be strange if he didn't at least think a little bit of what they would do after those credits rolled.
Right.
So I mean, I would think that he probably knew that, but I think as a viewer though, it's kind of hard to tell. But then again, they had that scene at the end where he headbutts her. And then because as a viewer, we are seeing it, and we don't know that he's the father. You know what I mean? So like you see that, and suddenly you're like, oh, cool, he's also part of it. You know that moment where it's like, is she gonna get help or not?
Yeah.
And then suddenly you're like, oh no, she's screwed. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't get out of it. She's got that little bit of hope. So I mean, it's really hard to say, but I think given the fact that he did insert him at the end of the first movie, and he has that moment, I think he knew what he was going to do with Devil's Rejects. Yeah.
I think it worked out. So.
Oh yeah, Devil's Rejects,
out, man.
Oh yeah.
Well, moving on to the Devil's Rejects.
Oh yeah, this can just be called the Devil's Rejects episode. I mean, I like a lot of his movies. I don't know if we'll
get to all his movies in this one, but we're going to try to get them. But the Devil's Rejects, man. I mean, you've kind of touched on it, but what was your first thoughts when you first saw the movie?
Again, I didn't catch it in its original run.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, it's experimental to begin with because you see, in society, I think people want to put people in boxes. As audiences, we want to be like, you're a rocker, so you can't be a filmmaker, right? Or like you're an actor, so you can't be a musician, right? And some people are multi-talented. So whenever I took the chance and I saw his movie and I didn't love it, I'm not going to go back and see his second movie. I mean, yeah. So I heard a lot of critics say it was great. I heard Ebert gave it a thumbs up, and he said Halloween sucked when it first came out. John Carpenter's originally, what I'm saying? So I'm like, well, he's a hard sell. He was, rest in peace. But yeah, so if he's gonna say it's okay, I mean, I'm like, man, what is all this talk about? Eventually, I go see it, and I'm blown away. Like, I think the direction is mind blowing. I think the characters are amazing, and he does this thing where it reminds me of Kubrick's Clockwork Orange, where you're not supposed to like that character, and you've seen him do some nasty things, and yet the filmmaker, the artist, the storyteller starts to play you like a violin, and whenever he gets sympathy and empathy from you for that piece of crap person, that's genius, man. Right. It really is. So at the end of Devil's Rejects, whenever whenever they're all tied up, and you're like, you want them to get out, and then you start having like inner conflict, like, no, but they're disgusting. They've killed and raped people, but you want them to get out because of their family, and it's weird. Right. Yeah, it's really genius.
Yeah, I was the same way, man. Especially at the end, they're in the car, and they're driving toward the roadblock, and they start getting shot and everything. It's like, damn, I fucking feel bad. I don't want them to get shot and killed.
Yeah.
But at the same time, these are these people that has done these horrible fucking things, but you fucking love them no matter what.
Yeah, they absolutely deserve it. Yeah, and one of the greatest things, like the baby go. The Banjo Sullivan, like those characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're not really the main characters. Like, they're not the protagonists. The bad people are the protagonists, and the way that he ingeniously makes the sheriff the bad guy, even though you are supposed to root for him, slowly makes him the bad guy, and he infuses like the Tutti fucking Fruity scene.
Yeah.
Where that makes you feel like, you're like, oh, that's like my dad. Or like, that's like my brother or sister. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've had moments like that. It makes you have empathy for them, and that's a dangerous thing. And I think he makes you ask yourself questions that make you uncomfortable, and I think that's a sign of a true artist.
Right. How'd you feel about Bill Moseley?
Oh God. Yeah. Oh yeah. I am the devil, and I'm here to do the devil's work. Right. I mean, he was amazing in the movie. It's weird, you see him in like, I mean, he's got a lot of talent. I think that, I don't want to say like he stayed in the horror genre because I love the horror genre.
Well, he was in one of the original Texas Chainsaw, right? Wasn't he?
Chop Top.
Yeah.
In part 2. Yeah. I mean, he was great as Chop Top, but I just meant like it's insane how you could. I mean, like if you met him on the street, or you take your kid to a soccer game and he's got a kid. he just looks like your all-American dad, doesn't he?
Right. Yeah.
And then he can turn that all, or turn it up, or flip that, and he's chilling. Yeah, he's crazy in that movie.
Right.
Ultimately, I think he does the best work in the movie. Yeah. Even though I think Sid Haig is really great. I think wholly altogether.
Yeah.
There better be some fucking brilliant Mark Twain shit, because it's definitely getting chilled on the Tombstone.
Right.
God, man, he was great. What'd you think of it?
I loved him, man. I loved him. I actually had a time where I almost got to meet him, which I still kick myself to this day. I didn't take the chance, but I was in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and it was close to Halloween, and they were having some kind of Halloween fest, and he was going to be there, and we didn't go. We were going to get to go meet him, but we went somewhere instead because I was with a bunch of friends and stuff, and they wanted to go somewhere else, and so I missed the opportunity, and I still to this day kick myself for that, man, because
you got him and Sid. They're on the convention circuit like crazy. You'll get a chance.
Right. Have you met either one of them?
Oh yeah, multiple. I mean, not multiple times, but I've been to conventions multiple times. They've been there. That is, you can't really. Some people don't want you to approach them whenever you're not trying to purchase something, or you're not. Yeah, but I've gotten both of their autographs. Right. I've probably been to no joke, probably 10 conventions they've been. They're always there. Right. They're always
I see Sid always is on the covers of a bunch of them.
Always. Yeah. They're big con people. I see Kane. And it's almost like, not my uncle, but it's almost like, oh, it's Uncle Kane. Like Kane Hodder. He's always there. They're just kind of like, there's it's kind of a comfort. But we're all horror family though, so.
Yeah, definitely.
Bill Moses is a really nice guy. Both of them are really, really nice. Yeah.
Right, cool.
Really genuine.
How'd you think about Sherry, man, her roles?
Oh, man, what are you talking about?
Baby, Sherry Moon Zombie.
Yeah, no, I'm saying in the Devil's Rejects?
Devil's Rejects, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's, it's easy to say nepotism, man. It's people always say that shit,
Right.
There's always somebody on some Facebook page or some Facebook group being like, oh, Rob's going to put his wife in it again, right? Yeah. And I'm like, I thought she's garbage in 31, but I also think that she's one of the best things about the Halloween remake. And that's not a good movie. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. I mean, if the Halloween all iterations of that movie, the one on Blu-ray and DVD suck. And we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, I think that she's one of the best parts of the movie for sure. And in Devil's Rejects, she's good looking, but I'm not saying that's the only thing she's offering. She's right. It's a little bit turned down from The House of a Thousand Corpses, where it doesn't seem as goofy and hokey. Yeah. But she plays that line between gleefully innocent and insane. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think she really does that really well. Yeah, really well in The Devil's Rejects, where Chinese, Japanese, and she's. You know what I'm saying? It's fuck you. She's really good, man.
Yeah,
I don't think that. To go back to the nepotism thing really quick, I just think that's a bullshit argument, because I don't think that Rob. She's not doing crap work.
Right.
The Lords of Salem shows that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She's good in the Lords of Salem.
Right. There's a lot of people
really good.
I've seen on social media, man, that just dog her. It says she's no good actress and blah, blah, blah. But I think she's good. And I'm not just saying that, like you said, because she looks good in her movies or whatever, but she brings something to the table, and I think she does an awesome, phenomenal job at what she does. And especially, I might be a little biased, but especially with The Devil's Rejects, she fucking kills it there. And, so
I agree. The only performance that I have a problem with of hers in his movies is 31. It's the only time where I didn't see the actress, and that's a problem for me, because that's at the end of the day, that's what acting is.
Right.
I don't want to see you because, look at James Franco, right? I've seen James Franco's face, and I'm literally 30, 40 things, right? Mm-hmm. But his acting, or anybody's acting, the power of acting, right? It makes me believe that there's someone else. They're not that person. They're not real James Franco. They're not whatever. And in 31, I thought she was. I couldn't look past. I thought the acting was bad. I couldn't look past her. as the person, but everything else is really good. And you know, Lords of Salem, the movie is on her shoulders, and she still kills it.
Yeah.
The whole movie.
Yeah.
I mean, in none of those movies except for 31, which I don't like. I mean, I obviously they said that, but like those other movies, they're not starring her. I mean, they are, but they're not. And you know, Lords of Salem, she's the protagonist. It's all in her bag.
Right.
And she crushes it. Yeah. And Bruce Davidson does too, but yeah, we'll get to that once we get to the movie. Yeah, for sure.
Now with the Devil's Rejects, I mean, you have a lot of actors in it. Even some wrestlers. You have DDP, Diamond Dallas Page.
What?
He's in the movie.
I love DDP, bro. It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, he does awesome.
Big fan.
Yeah. Gosh, I can't think of his name that plays Sheriff Waddell.
John Forsythe.
Yeah.
No. Oh, right.
Is that yeah? Is that his name?
Robert. Yeah. I will get on my phone, but we're recording on this. Yeah. It's not John. It's either John or Robert Forsythe. Yeah.
Yeah.
He plays the. He's in. I mean, he's been all kinds of stuff.
Right.
Raising Arizona. He plays John Goodman's buddy. Yeah. He's. Man, movie stuff too. But No, he kills that movie.
Yeah.
Does he not?
Yeah. Definitely.
I mean, he's one of the. I think arguably. I think Mosley does the best work, but I think there's an argument for who does the second best.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Sid Haig is great in the movie. I'm not saying anything, but what he has to do as Sheriff Waddell, it's a lot for an actor to have to do.
Right.
You have to like get people's sympathy and empathy, and then you have to push them away. You have to your performance has to drive them away from liking you.
Right.
And I'm trying to the line here, George. That whole scene, whenever I love that scene, dude. It's so good. That's the turning point in the movie for his character.
Right.
Of being like, you're right, they did. I'm going rogue. I'm not going to think of anything else but murder. I'm killing all of them.
And he fucking goes crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and he blurs. Those things of like if you go that way, you go that far into that section or that sector, then like, are you the villain now? And you blur those lines between like you're acting just like the person that you hate.
Right.
And that's one of the genius parts of the movie. He starts acting like a firefly in a weird way.
Yeah. That's good. Love it, man. I love it. Well, let's get into two movies that you either love or hate.
Oh, God.
And I think
yeah.
There's a lot of I don't want to say true, but a lot of Halloween fans, the original, hate this movie or hate the remakes that Rob Zombie did, which was the Halloween 1 and 2. I've seen so many reviews out there, man, that just, bash Rob Zombie for it. Which I think the first one, the remake, I really enjoyed it because he does kind of give you a backlog of Michael Myers. A lot of people don't like that, but I really enjoyed it. A little bit of his backstory of where he came from.
Yeah.
I like that part.
Well, I mean, the reason, there's a big reason why that movie came out the way it did. I mean, what I think, Rob, like the original print, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he made his cut and then they screened it, right? The reason why all that exposition, that villain exposition works is because the movie's not really about Laurie, it's about Michael, and he makes the villain the main character, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for what he's trying to do with that, with the original ending, because they have that crane shot, and you can overhear the audio of Loomis and young Michael talking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like a complete story. And that's, what I'm saying, the excesses, or not really excesses, but the effects of his family on him and the decisions to kill people, this is where you're going to end up. And that's it feels like a complete story, but, the Weinsteins recut the movie because the audiences didn't like that, right?
Right.
So, like, when they recut it, he's more brooding, he's less empathetic. He killed Danny Trejo, but in that original cut, he didn't.
Oh,
he's
really?
a person. Yeah, he's a person in the original cut, right?
Okay.
But in this version, the one that we have on Blu-ray and the one that came out in theaters, he's more of a mindless villain. And I think the two creative sides were at odds with each other. So in a regular movie, let's take Nightmare on Elm Street, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they had a lot of Freddy exposition, which is what they do later with the Bastard Son of 100 Maniacs and the Dream Demons and all the stuff with his daughter, I'm like, dude, really?
Yeah.
Let's focus on another protagonist, okay?
Right.
I mean, you have one movie with Alice, and then the second movie sucks, and then you don't have her at all. I know this isn't a podcast about Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm just using that as an example.
Right.
I think the exposition wouldn't work there. But the fact that he was trying to make a movie about Michael being the main character, it works. But the version we have now, I think, is uneven. And, Laurie comes off very unlikable. She comes off like Linda would in the original movie. She's not likable whatsoever. She's mean to her parents.
Yeah.
You don't really want her to survive. I'm not saying you want her to die, but you're like, hey, if it happens, it happens.
Right.
You really don't care. And I think ultimately the movie is at odds with itself because of what I was saying. I happened to get my hands on a copy of that original cut. That's how I saw it. It's not like I'm like hanging out with the Weinsteins or anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or I was at the theater that day.
Mm-hmm.
I just so happened to get a bootleg copy. Don't tell anybody. Back in 2007. Yeah, back in 2007, and it was that cut. And then I go to the theaters. I mean, I'm obviously going to go see it. I'm a Halloween fanatic. And then I go to the theater. I'm like, I'm going to go see that movie that I saw on Blu-ray or DVD in the theater. Yeah. And then it's completely different.
Right.
And then, in the last 10 years, you hear stories and you find out like, oh, they recut it because that original test audience really didn't understand what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
No, I'm not a fan of the cut that's on Blu-ray, but I do like it more than Halloween 2, which is an abomination.
Yeah.
I mean, it's freaking terrible.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, did you enjoy the first one? I mean, are you one of those kind of on the fence?
Oh no, I mean, I'm always going to defend that cut that I got, right?
Right.
And I wish that would come out so other people could see it.
That'd be.
And I'm like, no, that movie was good because Rob was trying to do what he wanted to do. But when they took it from him, the Love Hurts montage is laughable.
Mm-hmm.
The original cut, it plays better because it's more a character study of how you can turn someone into a monster.
Yeah.
But yeah, that other cut, it comes off as cheesy, and then you abandon Michael for Laurie because they're trying to make it formulaic, however you say that, right? And they want to make it seem more accessible to random popcorn goers, more random moviegoers. So I mean, the movie just doesn't come out right. It's two different chefs trying to make, you know what I mean? It doesn't work, man. I really wish more people could see that. Like I said, Danny Trejo doesn't kill him in that cut. He kills him in this one,
right?
Because Danny Trejo more in that original cut, but even in the one that you can get on Blu-ray, he takes care of Michael,
right?
So when it comes to the point where he's going to kill him or not, he's like, I don't want to kill him, and it shows that he actually is a human being. It's a different story than John Carpenter was trying to tell,
right?
And I like him doing that, something different with it.
There's a lot of other people that say because the guy he used for Michael is just this huge guy, and a lot of people like the fact where the older Michael, the original Michael, he looked kind of just like the guy next door, so to speak. Just his height and stuff. Do you think that had any effect of anything? Just the guy he used for Michael, portraying him more as a monster, like just huge. Does that make sense? Does that make sense a little?
Yeah, I think it had to be. I mean, for his story, no, not necessarily, but I think that was probably a studio note, kind of like how New Line didn't want Otter because they wanted a bigger Freddy vs. Jason. They wanted a bigger contrast to Robert Englund, so they had a bigger guy come in. Kane is better with his mannerisms, but he's shorter, so you don't have that contrast. So I think in John Carpenter's version of the movie, it works a lot better because it doesn't make sense, and that creeps you the fuck out.
Right.
You're like, he shouldn't be able to hold Bob up with one arm. That means that he's we don't know this for sure, but he must be he must not just be human, right? He must be inhuman. And then at the end, John Carpenter's like, no, he is. You know what I'm saying? And he gets up and whatnot. But I think for Rob Zombie's, had that original cut came out, and I hate to keep going to that, had that original cut came out, him being big, it doesn't really play into it because his version is nurture, and Carpenter's version is nature. Because Carpenter, his Michael Myers came from a nice family they had money, they looked like they had a good family going, they lived in suburban America in 1970. But he likes to kill people. He doesn't he enjoys it. He's evil. You can't explain it. And that's nature. But with Rob Zombie, what he was trying to do before the Weinsteins, which produced it, got their hands on it, he wanted to tell the nurture thing, where you take a regular kid and you're like, you're fat, Misha, my bell, you know what I'm saying? Where you make fun of him. and then he's like, you break him to the point where he murders people, and it makes more sense that he didn't kill Danny Trejo with the original. You know, if you go that route,
I
and
can
I
see
don't think,
that.
and the size doesn't really necessarily play into it because, I mean, it makes it a little more scary if you have someone that gets turned into a killer because they've been abused and they also are huge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not necessarily the mythological thing that Carpenter was trying to do.
Right. Yeah. Now you said part 2 is your least favorite.
Of what? All movies
or the Halloweens of Rob Zombie?
All movies in general?
Not all the movies.
Yeah. I mean, let's start. Yeah, let's start with Loomis, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah. Let's start with how badly written he is.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that like, ooh, I'm somebody special. I would write Loomis better. You know, I'm not saying that.
Right.
Or like I'm not John Carpenter, so I'm not gonna be like, this is not the way you do Loomis because I invented the character.
Right.
But him being used as a device in the original movie, he's a plot device in the first movie. He's moving the plot forward. He tells you all the exposition of Michael Myers. He makes you more scared of him. He's telling you stuff that you've never seen. It's almost like Voldemort in the Harry Potter series, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Loomis does in the original movie, but he really cares. You can tell that he's like, I don't want to be right. I wanted to be wrong, but I know I'm right. And I'm trying to save people because if you knew what I knew, then you would be trying to save them too. You know, more fancy talk. You know what these, you know what this town is. You know, with him and Brackett, right? But you look at Zombie Halloween 2, with the book sales, and he sees slimy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't care, and there's a little bit of redemption at the end, but it's not worth what you go through.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not worth taking that character to that place because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't believe what happened to him in the first movie would drive him to be that way. You know, and I think the character's not written properly. I think that's a huge part of the movie, or a huge problem with the movie. It's one of the things that I hate. One of the things that I like least about it. I mean, what do you? I mean, this isn't necessarily interviewing me. I want to hear your opinion. Like, what did you think about it?
I didn't like it. I mean, it wasn't. Well, I don't want to say it wasn't terrible. I just didn't like it. But I think with the Sherry, you know, her role in part 2 was kind of confusing on some parts. You know, with her standing there with the white horse and all of that, I think a lot of people didn't know what the fuck Rob Zombie was trying to say with those certain scenes, you know, with her in, and I was one of them. You know, I was kind of confused, like, okay, what is he trying to say? Is she like trying to get Michael to kill himself to come be with her or something, or if this is just some kind of imaginary thing he's seeing in his head?
Yeah, but it wasn't like, especially with the end, like they were trying to imply that he at some point was a figment of her imagination and she was the one. I mean, again, this is a movie that I've seen, if I'm stretching it, 3 times.
Yeah,
I saw one in theaters. The only reason I own the movie is because it came in Scream Factory's Halloween set, the deluxe version.
Yeah.
And when me and you were originally going to do this podcast, I started going through the movies and I went through it again. And I mean, no, the time has not been better that film, but
no, not at
all. Yeah, it's I think she's good in those scenes.
Yeah.
Sherry Moon, I think she's really good in those scenes. And again, I really wish she would, like, if she would go audition for another person's film, or she would go audition for other movies, right? Then I think people would see more of like, oh, okay, she can stand on her own, because it's so easy to. People are haters. Right. It's so easy to point a finger and be like, well, but I don't have a Rob Zombie in my life that's going to be me in a movie, so I'm not going to make fun of her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so like she's bad automatically, instead of stepping back and being like, okay, well, certain people have advantages and certain people don't.
Right.
That's cool. You have to understand that.
Yeah.
How do you like take it on the merit of the actual thing, not your context and what you bring to it?
Right.
But the question I was asking you specifically is like, what did you think of Loomis in the second movie?
Loomis, I don't know, man. He was just, of course, I keep going back to the originals. You know, he's nothing like the originals or what John Carpenter, you know. And I think that's kind of me being the critic, you know, because I keep referring him to that. But in part 2, I just think, like you said, he was more of just a dick, you know.
Yeah,
it's like he didn't.
Selfish.
Yeah, he just wanted to sell his book. He didn't really, give a fuck about anything, But at the end, like you said, he kind of shows a little compassion, but that's it.
It almost feels like in the second movie, it almost feels like he wants him to keep killing people so he can have more books to write.
Yeah, you kind of get that little idea, yeah.
Yeah, like, I wish he would just still be out there so I can keep telling these stories and keep making money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But what did you think of Brad Dourif? Like, I think he's phenomenal in the second movie. He's without a doubt the best actor in the second movie.
Yeah.
I mean, Malcolm McDowell's a good actor, but I'm talking about the performance specifically in that movie. I think he's great.
Yeah, I think he did great. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I don't think that people give him enough credit as. I mean, yeah, okay, he's Chucky, and he's been in a lot of stuff, but I mean, like, he's a really good actor, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The diner, not the diner scene, but like the scene when they're at the house and he's playing the father character. Obviously, he is a father, but he's really playing that, like, batting back and forth with Annie. He's really playing. He feels like the dad. He feels like your friend's dad.
Yeah.
He feels like the dad. You know what I'm saying? The dad from when you were growing up. I think the movie doesn't deserve his performance. How about that?
Yeah, I could say. Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, he's doing, but a consummate professional. And I'm not clowning. I mean, Malcolm McDowell's a hell of an actor.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that at all. And he did what Rob Zombie asked him to do. Right. But what I'm saying is that, like, when you're a veteran actor like that, right? Mm-hmm. And you don't look, sometimes you're just like, man, I guess he could not decide to not do the movie, but, I think Dourif he's like, man, I don't care how bad the script is. I'm in it, right? I'm going to smash it out. Yeah. I'm not going to, I'm not going to be like, well, it sucks, so I'm going to do half work. And I'm going to do it like I'm about to be in Forrest Gump 2. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do it like it's something big, and I think he really brings it. So. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that guy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, we established that part 2 is not really our favorite. So,
I have a hard. I mean, have you ever seen anybody say that like that movie?
No. I've hardly seen anybody say they like the first one. Much less the second one.
Right. Not seeing. Some people on Facebook will say that they like the original, but I rarely even see part 2 being talked about.
Right. Yeah.
It seems like that's even people that. I mean, I don't want to say don't know a lot about movies because, I mean, who the fuck am I? But, they're just like, yeah, no, that's garbage. I mean, I like garbage, but that's garbage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're like, I love House of the Dead, but Halloween 2 sucks. I'm like, man, that's really bad. Because House of the Dead is terrible.
Right.
That's a terrible movie. Movie. I wish he wouldn't have made a sequel. I wish he would have just moved on to Lords of Salem. And maybe we should do that, too.
Yeah, let's move on. Lords of Salem, man. A weird one, kind of. Not really kind of, just very weird.
In a good way until the end, but we'll get to that.
In a good way. Sherry Moon Zombie, I think she did a pretty good job.
I thought she was great.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the guy's name, the other guy. Jeff
A. Daniels?
Jeff A. Daniels, yeah. Pretty good.
I love that guy. He's awesome.
What did you think about it? I mean, go ahead.
Ken Faree. I would say Ken Faree.
Oh, yeah.
All of them. Like, they had some really good chemistry in the just them back and forth in the radio station.
Right.
They had some really good chemistry. But what were we going to ask me? I'm sorry.
I was going to say, now, it took a while for that one to come out due to, was it some ratings? I know 31 was due to some ratings or something they were arguing about over, but I think from what I heard, Lords of Salem was kind of the same way, wasn't it?
Did it get delayed? I could get familiar.
I thought it did get delayed because it was supposed to be out way before it ever came out.
I mean, a couple of times, a lot of times with the MPA, you got to keep recutting and send it back. Mm-hmm. Even sometimes, to talk about the MPA, sometimes people will put too much gore in, more gore than they want. Right. So when they cut it back, they can actually cut it back to the film they really want. They'll be like, well, you took some stuff out.
Yeah.
So, and it's Rob Zombie, so I'm sure that he's got, blood's hanging, blowing, head exploding. So I'm not shocked. I can't really recall any story that I've heard, which doesn't mean it doesn't exist, of, that movie being delayed for anything more than having to resend it back a couple of times to get the rating. But again, I could just be not familiar with the story. I can certainly see that with the whole like the devil thing. You know,
Yeah.
I really don't. Sometimes, man. Sometimes he. Sorry, stream of consciousness. I don't mean to go off on a tangent, but like
No.
sometimes it feels like he's scared to be Rob Zombie, the artist. He has to be Rob Zombie, the personality.
Yeah, I can
Because
see
that movie
that.
seemed really weird. Like, I mean, the movie's really good until I mean, like it is. It's actually I think it's probably his most underrated movie, and I think it's probably his most. It's probably his. I mean, maybe The Devil's Rejects, but man, probably his sharpest in terms of direction. That movie, and I think that it's great up until that end. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, Rob?
With the
Like,
ending?
why? Yeah, well, no, not just the ending of like, you know, the prophecy and the culmination. I'm talking about like the dude jerking off with the devil dick, and like, I just don't understand. Like, why did you? Like, you could have went that way without going that way.
Right.
That far. You know what I'm saying? It didn't make sense to me, but I like the movie, man. I think it's excellent. You know, it's a simple story.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, it's a pretty simple story.
Yeah. Really, yeah.
You know, it's not a lot of and I think everything is it's a period piece. You know, it's great direction. I think that movie gets better every time I see it.
Yeah, I definitely enjoy it. The song or whatever, the little song they keep playing in the movie.
Oh yeah.
I think John Fife, his guitar player, is the one that kind of wrote that for the movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I fucking love it. I don't know why. It's just I love it. But
oh no, it's you know what the actual Lords of Salem song, right?
Yeah.
The one that they draw all the witches on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that. That's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
He probably just knew him for his rocking days, right?
Yeah.
Just, you know, he probably. I mean, not rocking days. He still tours every once in a while.
Yeah. John Five is actually his guitar player now, still. So.
Oh, no, hold on. Okay, hold on. So how long has he always been? I mean, how long has he been with him then?
He's been with him, gosh, because before John Five was with Zombie, he was with Marilyn Manson, and then he left Manson and then went to Zombie, and so I mean he's been with him a good while, man. At least 7 or 8 years. We actually saw Rob Zombie came here. We actually went and saw him last year, and he put on one hell of a show, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, it had to be longer than 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
That movie's supposed to like. I mean, when did that movie come out?
Has it been that long?
I can't. I'm trying to think. Maybe 10 or 11. I mean,
gosh, I don't know if it's been.
Hold on. It's right here. now, yeah, I gotta.
Yeah, because I don't know if it's been that long.
Where you at, Rob? I can't look it up because we're recording on my phone. Can you? I thought right here. Right. Okay. So I knew my collection. All right. Hold on.
Got it.
Yeah. Finally. All right. Sorry, audience. Dead air. I know. But it's worth it though.
Definitely.
It's worth it. What year did this come out? Anchor Bay. 13. Okay, so it's not been that long. It's 4 years.
I was about to say yeah.
It feels, for some reason, it feels a lot longer than that.
All right.
But yeah, if you haven't picked up the Steelbook, you know, buy it at Best Buy. You know, that's where I got mine.
Right.
I'm sure that you can find them online somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I watched that again whenever we were talking about doing this podcast, and I'm a big filmmaker lover, not just movie. You know what I'm saying? Not just movies.
Right.
I love direction. I love camera movement, and I think that movie is sharp, man. I think he's an underrated director. It's you know, I really wish he would, you know, I wish he would film something. I wish he would make something that someone else wrote. I really do.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people give him crap and don't give him the credit that he deserves is because he is first a rock star and a singer and all that. And I think that's why a lot of people give him the shit that they do with his movies.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. I mean,
I agree.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like, I feel like, I mean, I don't want to get into psychology things, but like, I feel like people put people in boxes because they want to feel safe. So like, they define them. I mentioned it at the beginning of the show. Like, they define them as like, oh, well, you're a rocker, so I know what you are, so I know what to expect.
Right.
And then you go to be like, well, I'm going to go do this. And like, fuck you, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're a rocker. We're gonna do that. And it took him a long time. I'm like, man, Rob Zombie's not a rocker turned filmmaker anymore. No more than the Rock is a wrestler turned actor.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? They've done enough stuff where they should be being, and The Rock definitely is, but like, they should be being defined as like, oh no, he's a film, like Rob Zombie's a filmmaker that occasionally rocks now.
Right. Yeah.
He really is. Like, you know what I'm saying? He makes, I didn't hate 31. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it though, and I've seen worse movies from more accomplished directors, so obviously I think he's doing something.
Yeah. Well, moving on.
He brings a lot to our genre.
Right. Well, moving on to 31. I've only seen it one time. That was it.
Maybe I've seen it twice, so we're in the same boat, brother. Not much.
Yeah, it was okay. It wasn't what I hoped, I guess, or what the hype was about. A lot of people loved it though.
Right.
I've seen a lot of reviews out there that people just freaking loved it. But I was more. It wasn't awful. It was okay. That's all I can really say for the one time I've seen it. Now, with saying that, I could go back and watch it again, and I might have another opinion on it and say, okay, yeah, I like it a little bit better, or no, we'll stick with that. It's okay.
Yeah, it's always I did it with Die Hard with a Vengeance a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. Like, it's always important to go back to movies and see if you've changed, if your views have changed, you've lived life, you may see it in a different way, but yeah, obviously you just saw it, so that's your opinion, and mine is, she's terrible in the movie, and I think it has protagonist problems, and I also think that, I don't hate it, I love it. He gets back to that, like, he gets back to those freeze frames and frames coming over other ones. It feels very of the time. And he's a kid of the 70s and he loves the 70s. It's so obvious in watching his movies that feels like, if he had a time machine, then that would be the era that he would want to go back in. He's like, I want to live back in the 70s as a man, So, I like that. It's just ultimately, other than Richard Brake's performance, which is phenomenal, without a doubt, you know what I'm saying? That it's just forgettable, and it's weird because it's it feels like sometimes it just feels like a bunch of sketches tied together.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's one of those movies? I guess when you started watching it, that okay, I pretty much know what's going to happen. Because some movies you can go into and say, okay, I know this person's going to get killed off, this one's going to get killed off, this one's going to make it. Was that something that you went into watching it that you kind of knew how it was going to go? Or did it kind of take you by surprise?
In our genre, I feel like our genre more than most, as insane as the setting and the world that they can build their characters around, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of times the characters within that world, you kind of already know, right? Like, that's the cliche of, like, he's the jock, or, I'm not going, like, Friday the 13th cliches, but there's still that same sense of, like, take the craziest, Elm Street. Okay, let's go with Elm Street, right?
Yeah.
Let's go with Elm Street. I'm sorry to lean on it. I know you're a big fan of Elm Street, so... I know you're a big fan of Elm Street, so it's easy to have that type of that recall for it. But look at that movie. The idea of someone killing you in your dreams is really crazy. That's a crazy world to live in. But when you see those characters, you're like, okay. You may not believe that Glenn's gonna die necessarily, but a lot of those characters are like, oh, he's gonna get it, or she's gonna get to the end. You know what I'm saying? So, I guess in 31, in a sense, it was predictable, but I don't think that's the problem with the movie necessarily. I just think that he doesn't. It almost feels like he wants to take you through a haunted house, other than telling you the story of who goes to the haunted house.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, and
it seems like a lot of setups. It seems like, and one of the things I like about the movie actually, and I don't want to argue against a point that I just made, but it's like it feels very A to B to C to D to E. Like rarely until the last part of the movie, you don't really cut to like, you don't really cut to Malcolm McDowell talking about,
Right.
the cut. It's just very like, this is, all right, we're here, and this is what's happening. It's very easy to follow, but it doesn't really feel like, it doesn't really pay off in the sense of meaning anything at the end.
Right.
And sometimes it feels like, all right, they meet the midget or the little person or whatever, and then it's like they go in that situation and they go in another situation, and I mean, it just feels like it's wasted potential.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
I mean,
with Sherry, man. I mean, I guess.
But I did.
What's your
like
thought
it though.
of saying that it was her worst? I guess is what I'm trying to ask.
Oh God, no, it's
why,
terrible in the movie.
Why do you say that?
Because like she's bad. Like I mean, it's. I mean, okay, it's just. I mean, I hate when people are like, but dude, like, that's your opinion, man. So like, why, like, and it is. It is. It is. Everybody's got their opinion, right? But no, what I mean is like people be like, but like, why do you say it like it's a matter of fact? I'm like, well, dude, in my reality, it is.
It is, right?
Explain why. Like, I shouldn't have to be like, I mean, you shouldn't have to say in my opinion every time, because you know how I know it's your opinion? Because it's coming out of your mouth. You know what I'm saying? I already know it. So in my opinion, whenever she acts, I can't see nothing but the person. I don't believe her in the scenario. I don't believe her in the story. And I think ultimately, if she was better in the movie, then I think the movie would play better. And I think it would be a little more satisfying whenever, Break and her get to the house at the end. I think it would be a little more like, you would feel like, okay, the way the movie's set up is like, the whole analogy with the going to the haunted house, right? And if she was better in the movie, when you came out of that, you'd both be like, oh my God, we survived. You know what I'm saying? You would feel like but no, whenever, like, her acting is so bad, it's indicating. It feels like she's reading. Right. She's regurgitating. It's not being, it's just regurgitation. I don't know what was going on before the movie. I mean, I'm not saying that necessarily anything was going on. Right. But it just doesn't seem like she's bringing, because, acting that's not what acting is. You can't just you can't just repeat a line that somebody wrote. And you know what I mean? You need to, if you don't believe it, here it is.
Yeah.
Here, I'll get to it. If you don't believe it, I don't believe it. And when I don't believe it, I don't believe any of this shit.
Right. I see it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I see the film. I don't want to see the film. I mean, maybe you're not a fan of professional wrestling. You ever watch wrestling match?
Oh yeah, big fan, man. I'm from the South.
You just meant DDP reference, right?
From the South.
Yeah. Wrestling and acting are very similar to me in the sense of when it's bad, it's childish and it makes me feel stupid.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? So like, if you don't bring it, then I don't want to see. I don't want to think about how much I know about wrestling or how much I know about films. I want to fall into it. I don't want to think about them cutting into it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to think about them cutting the movie on a machine, or I'm sorry, a program. I don't want to think about like, oh, well, they had to cut and whatnot. I want to fall into it, and her performance does not allow me to do that.
I can see. Yeah. What's your thoughts on the ending of the movie? When she's on the road. He pulls up behind her.
Break when he comes out, right?
Yeah, when he comes out. I mean, I guess that's kind of left up for everybody to make their own assumption. Like, okay, is he going to kill her, or is she going to kind of join him? Does that make sense?
I think he's taking her back to play.
Taking her back. Okay, yeah. Because I was really kind of left hanging on that.
Well, I mean, like, Break Doomhead. Like, Break, I really wish, man, I was at a convention at the Horror Hound in Cincinnati in March, and he was there, and I forgot my copy, and I loved his performance in it, and even more, I found out that he was Joe Chill in Batman Begins, and I was like,
really?
Dude, yeah. I mean, he's still in it for a second, but he's the one that kills Bruce Wayne's parents.
Okay, I didn't know that. Wow.
Me either. I was watching the series again. I went to go watch the trilogy, and I'm like, dude! You know what I'm saying? I was like, right. Oh, man, I really wish I would have met him, right?
Yeah.
I went to the panel, and I talked to him in the sense of like, hey, Richard, you're amazing. I told him in the panel. But he's very subservient to Malcolm McDowell's, like, he very much is part of, like, he's part of the army of Malcolm McDowell and whatever they called him in the movie, right? Because, there are a bunch of heads. They're like Doomhead. there's there's a bunch of heads. I'm trying to think of the names. So like whenever that happens at the end of the movie, yeah, immediately I was like, oh, well, he's gonna take her back to the game to make sure that she keeps, you know what I'm saying, like she's not gonna get away.
Right.
Like I don't think he's operating from a sense of like self-service. I don't think he's operating on his own agenda. He's like, I'm part of this, and I need to please the leaders.
Yeah.
At least that's the way I took it. I've seen the movie twice. Yeah.
Right.
I think once, 1.5 maybe. Like I don't even know if I've finished it the second time. So like, so maybe I need to see it again. I may see it a different way, but that's the way I see it now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to rewatch it, but there again, I mean, he's the one that makes the movie for me. I mean, the first time I did see it, the only time.
Oh, Break?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
That opening though, man.
Do what?
The opening.
Yeah.
Like the opening, you know what I'm saying? He's just looking at the camera. But
yeah,
dude, I mean, you know, it's funny. Like, I wrote an article for the site, for my site, talking about, because Rob Zombie came out and he said that he's got one of the best horror characters of the last 20 years or something, right? And,
I heard he was going to be like the next big horror character.
Icon. Yeah, right? And I was like, man, that's a pretty douchebag thing to say. Like, like you know what I'm saying? Like, don't say that. Let it come out, and when people say it, like, you don't have to come out and say that, right?
Right.
And I just think, and people, like, some people commented and was like, call me cynical. And I'm like, well, maybe I was, but, you know, after seeing it, I'm very willing to say that I was wrong. I'm not saying that Doomhead is like that big, but I do 100% understand what Rob Zombie saw.
Yeah.
And why he would say that, because he fucking smashes that movie. So, yeah, he's really good. I hope he keeps working with him. He plays one of the medics in Halloween 2.
In Halloween 2?
Yeah, his Halloween. Whenever I was rewatching, I was like, oh, that's when he started working with him.
Okay, and Rob. Okay.
Yeah, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. He's and I hope that, like, honestly, man, I mean, I love the fact that he works with, you know, Malcolm, and, you know, he's got his stable, but I'd love to see a movie just all based around Richard Brake. Like, I'd love for him to, not even Doomhead. Just like, I would love for him to write a script around Richard as an actor, as an artist, and you know, use him as the main character or whatever.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I'm saying? I'd love for him to write a movie, even if he's the bad guy and he's not the main character, just around where he's a big part of the movie.
Right.
Because I think, and I really didn't know a lot about his work, man. He just seems like a character actor, and then he came and did this movie, and I'm like, hey, dude, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, I was the same way, man. I was like,
yeah. Right. You're bringing it, man. Hell yeah. And I'm looking forward to seeing everything you do. Yeah, in that convention I went to, I was like, man, you're a genius in the movie. I told him straight out, I was like, man, you are a genius in that movie.
Yeah.
You really did a great job, man.
Definitely. Well, to close it out, man, I wanted to ask, have you heard any talk about the with Rob Zombie coming out with something else related to The Devil's Rejects? Because I saw something, I don't know how true it was. I think it was on Facebook, actually. Somebody was posting something. But, you know, you can't believe everything you read. So
I'm pretty sure he said, I think Rob came out and said, would you like to see another? I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, within the last year, maybe like 2 months after, I think 31 came out in October. So maybe at the beginning of this year or at the end. I could be wrong on the date, and maybe before 31 even came out, but I'm pretty sure after it came out, that he was like, would you like to see another movie set in that Firefly universe? And you know what I'm saying? And a bunch of people were asking him, like, how can it be a sequel if most of them are dead? So I'm going to leave that to him. Yeah, but I will, you know, if he's watching this, you know what I'm saying? If he's seeing this somehow, I will say that, like, man, you got my money. I'll be there. First day, like, you know, if you tell it, you know, if it happens before House of a Thousand Corpses, or if there's a story in between, or if you can work it out, because that's how much I love The Devil's Rejects, man. It's a modern macabre masterpiece. You're so young right there. It really is.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm hoping he does do something with it. That'd be awesome.
You know, or just, I mean, obviously a movie set in that universe, but just getting back to that groove.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying he's necessarily been out of it, right? But like he set the benchmark. I mean, John Carpenter made Halloween, but he also made, you know, Escape from New York, and he also made The Thing, and he also made Assault on Precinct 13. But Rob Zombie's only made one of those movies, in my opinion. You know, I mean, that good, right. That timeless, going to Library of Congress in a vault one day kind of movie.
Yeah.
And I think that once you have that, you always have that.
Definitely.
You just have to find a way to work that out. You know what I'm saying? And bring that to the table.
Right.
Yeah. So like I'm actually I'm really looking forward to what he's gonna do next.
Yeah, I'm looking for Well, Joy, man.
I'm always gonna give him a chance, man.
Definitely, yeah. Love him or hate him, man. I like his stuff. You know, maybe he might hit and miss on some things, but I'm still a fan. So.
Oh yeah, I mean I'd much rather have the horror genre we have now versus some alternate reality where he never made movies.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, Joy, man, thank you. It's always fun coming on, man. What's going on, man? I mean, anything else new that's coming up with you, or 1428?
Oh yeah, still running the site. Got a few new writers, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Got 12 Monkeys starting up. Actually, I think it started last night on Sci-Fi. It's the third season of 12 Monkeys. You should definitely check that out if you haven't.
Yeah.
On Hulu, they got season 1, maybe season 2's on there. We'll be covering that.
Is it pretty good?
Yeah, I mean, I only started, watching it because I wanted something to cover, and I like to review episodic television, so I like to really get into the minutia of each episode,
Yeah.
So like I was like, man, there's not a lot of sci-fi or horror stuff on right now. Let me give it a shot, and I loved it.
Right.
Like it is one of the more underrated things I've ever seen. Right. Without a doubt. You think it's cheesy, and you think sci-fi has a connotation of what kind of shows and the quality of the shows,
mm-hmm.
and they're like, hey, it's okay, but like that, no, they really do. It's really good. The way they do the time travel stuff, really well plotted. It's really good, man. I'd definitely give it a try. But yeah, Twitter's growing, Facebook's growing. We're still got the site. Love everybody come.
Right.
Come visit. We're passionate as everybody out there. We're always open for always have the door open for an open conversation on Facebook. We're at 1428 AM, which is ran by Jeremy Dick, my co-editor, my colleague. I run the Twitter at 1428_Elm, and we're always looking to have conversations. I got Franchise Friday coming up, which we had a poll on Twitter about, what series that you'd like me to review next, just every week, and stream one. So the first edition of that's going to come out Friday.
Nice.
And we always want comment, on the comment section. We got, Friday the 13th, the game's about to come out.
Yes.
In about a week, we'll be doing a lot of coverage on that. It'd be hard. It's going to have I'm having a hard time finding the time to write whenever I'm playing video games all day.
Heck yeah, man.
But yeah, we got that, and we may not be the biggest force site on the planet, but we're just as passionate as the big ones.
Doing awesome work.
We're always looking for writers, and we're always looking for people to comment and be part of that conversation.
Right, awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, go check them out. And it's 1428M. Is it .com or just?
Oh no, .com, or you can find us on Twitter, 1428_Elm, Facebook, 1428M, and I like to coin this phrase. We're not only the home of Nancy, we're the home of all horror. So,
awesome.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. Come visit us, and we will return the favor. Get that conversation going.
Well, Joy, man, thank you so much for coming on, man. And of course, I'm sure you'll be on in the future again. So
I'd love to do the Romero Dead movies.
Yeah,
I'd love to go through those zombie movies one day on the show.
That'd be awesome.
I love those.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit subscribe for more videos and more shows coming up. And until next time, you know the deal. Stay safe.
Thanks for having me on, man.